Hey guys, this is Geek, and this is my review of Dark Void for the Xbox 360. Dark Void, it was a title that had tons and tons of potential. However, Dark Void seems to fail on almost every single front. The presentation is really mediocre. The music is forgettable. The graphics are really muddy, and not only are the textures muddy, but they take about 5 minutes to load. You start up the game and it looks like a PlayStation 2 game for like 5 minutes, and then finally the textures load. Not only that, but the lip syncing doesn't even match up sometimes. In some of the earlier levels, if you accidentally see the person's face and you hear dialogue, the lips don't move until afterwards. And it's really sad because the weapons and the ships and everything look really cool, but when it takes 5 minutes for the textures to load and everything else is pretty mediocre, it just doesn't put you in the mood. Now we come to the flying. One of the biggest appeals about this game was supposed to be the flight. However, the controls are awful. Not only have I played a ton of better flyers before, but I just can't wrap my mind around how bad the controls actually are. Not only do you have to sling your analog sticks like a Katamari game, but it's just terrible in every form. I mean, not only does your character have too little or too much momentum when trying to attack someone, it's ridiculous how much you have to do to actually get in a position to fire your guns to attack someone, not only in the jetpack, but in regular ships. I just couldn't believe how awful one of the main focuses of the game is. And it's just very disappointing. However, the third-person shooting element of the game is actually done quite well. This is the only part of the game that's actually decent. And it actually is on the same level as games like Uncharted 2 and Gears of War in terms of controls. The weapons are a bit meh, and they kind of run out of ammo weirdly. The strongest weapons of the game run out of ammo quickly. However, ammo doesn't seem to be a problem since there are hundreds of ammo boxes laying around the rooms. Not only this, but picking up weapons from enemies appears to happen at random. And it's just, But the control-wise, it's on par with Gears of War and Uncharted 2, which was actually a big surprise since every other part of the game seems to be very mediocre. However, there is one huge problem with the combat aspect of the game. If I, for example, leave too many enemies on the screen and run ahead, the frame rate will reduce to slideshow quality. Now, right here, I'm going to show you the terrible amounts that this frame rate can get to. It is so bad, it literally breaks the game. And then my 360 had nothing to do with it. My 360's operating system ran fine, but the game's frame rate, I thought it was freezing, but it clearly wasn't because my dashboard was. Here is some unedited footage. As you can see, it looks like the game is frozen, and it stayed like this for about 30 seconds. And this is actual frame rate. There is nothing wrong with my 360, it is actually the game's frame rate when you have too many enemies on the screen. It makes the game unplayable, especially in the latter half of the game when you just can't seem to take out as many enemies as quickly as possible. And as you can see, it's not my 360. My 360 works fine. Now we get to the regurgitation that is the story. The story is just awful. Just plain awful. The voice acting is terrible aside from Nolan North, and he is the only good voice actor in the entire game. Not only this, but the entire game's story doesn't make any sense. then this may be due to the fact that 4 out of the 6 hours this game is it's all it is a tutorial and teaching you how to use the really broken game mechanics for the first 4 hours of this 6-hour game. And it's just abysmal. There is no other word for it. The funniest thing is that all the advertising included the helmet, and all the advertising called it Dark Void, and the game is called Dark Void, but you actually don't get to the quote-unquote Dark Void, and you don't wear the helmet until the last hour of the game. Overall, this game is just really not worth playing unless you're an achievement whore, because the achievements come swiftly and promptly. Although Dark Void's third-person mechanics are actually quite well done, the flying mechanics, what's supposed to be the main draw to the game, is really poorly executed, and so is everything else. Although this game comes with really, really easy achievements, I just don't recommend playing it. It really is not worth your time. That's why I have to give Dark Void a 4 out of 10.